How a free-to-play beat Master Mode 315, the hardest Master Mode stage in the whole game. And that free-to-play is me. So in this video, I'm gonna show you footage of me beating this level, and also I'm gonna give you a billion tips on how to beat this level. You can take this video as a guide if you want, and also this guide works for people who spend money too, of course. And speaking of guides, this will be the most trustworthy guide of all time because there's no level 12 scroll involved. Like, I'm not gonna brute force this level or anything. So basically, the average player can follow this guide, finally. So keep in mind that laboratory upgrades don't work in this level, but I'm just gonna show it on my screen anyways just to flex. I have like all level 7 stat bonuses for cookies. My statue of heroic radiance is level 34, so it's super OP. I got a few decent promotions. For free to play, it's pretty good. Like, somehow I got a 2A cotton cookies, somehow it's pretty good, very OP. Somehow I also got a 1A eclair. I think it's from the free soul zone chest during the Ascension update. And keep in mind, I've been playing this game every day for 9 months straight, so that's why I'm pretty OP for a free to play. So here's the team I used: Cotton, Oyster, Eclair, Wildberry, Crunchy Chip. And I used a Scroll, Watch, and Pincushion. So here's the topping: massive amounts of damage resist on Wildberry, not as much on Crunchy Chip, but still a lot. Eclair's full cooldown with as much damage resist as possible. For Oyster, I got enough cooldown to summon like 3 or 4 soldiers. I think you need like 11.3% cooldown or something, I don't know the exact number, but I'm just running 12.3% cooldown with a bunch of damage resist. As you see, it's a mix of toppings. And Cotton, I just threw all my leftover damage resist cooldown toppings on her, so just plenty of damage resist, plenty of cooldown. As you see, the promotions are pretty good on Wildberry, Eclair, and Cotton, but Crunchy Chip and Oyster, they don't really have that many stars, but it's fine. So let me explain this team. So Crunchy Chip, Wildberry, and Oyster make up the front. So basically they're the tanks of the team. They will tank all the hits. Cotton Cookie, she also helps tank a few hits, but Cotton's most important aspect is healing in this team. And Eclair, he's mandatory for the DPS. There's no other cookie like him that can shred through enemies. So basically, Cotton and Eclair are absolutely mandatory for this stage, but for the other 3 cookies, you can use whatever works for you. Like, you can use Dark Cacao, Financier, some other cookies, it's fine. But this team is what worked for me. And you may notice later in the video, it actually helps to have a max out scroll, and I don't, so that sucks. But anyways, now here's footage of me beating the level. Don't mind the low quality. So now I'm gonna give you some pro tips. Tip number 1. Spam everybody's attack at the beginning of the level. Just trust me on that. Pro tip number 2. So I play on the computer sometimes. So I made this video on the computer. So what I did was I exited full screen and made a smaller screen. So it would be easier to click all the buttons and stuff because all the buttons are closer together. And also, that's why the video looks a little bit blurry, because I use a smaller screen. Pro tip number 3. Damage resist is key. Like, you must have damage resist on everybody. Like, you just need it. Pro tip number 4. You just gotta keep trying. I tried this stage like a billion times. Like, I'm not even kidding. So you just gotta keep rearranging toppings over and over again. So the reason why I decided to grind this level today, because there's an event that gives you a discount for removing toppings and stuff. So I had the opportunity to play around with my toppings and everything. Tip number 5, make a plan. So I actually made a list on Notepad about the list of viable DPS, tanks, and summon units in here. And I actually tried a lot of different combinations, like Financier, Wildberry combo for the fronts and stuff. It didn't work. But I also learned that Cotton and Eclair are mandatory for these levels. So for the other 3 cookies, you should use whatever suits you best. So for me, I chose Summoners because eventually I realized that it works for me, and I also included Wildberry in there. So then my defenses became like a Summoner tank hybrid. And for the final tip, let's say it looks like you're just about to lose at the final wave, just keep going. Like, this is what happened to me just now. Like, I knew I was gonna lose, but then I just kept going anyways, and then all of a sudden I kinda won, so it's all good. Like, I won with just Cotton, Oyster, and Wildberry. It was so close. Like, it was so close. I can't believe it. So if you enjoyed that video, you should subscribe. Also, you should subscribe because I'm free-to-play king. Like, there's not that many free-to-plays who beat this level. So yeah, just go do that right now. Alright, so the video's over now, but now it's time for shameful plug time. So, I hosted this Minecraft Anarchy event, and whoever won, they earn a shoutout on my channel, so now it's time for that shoutout. So the winner of the event is someone named Mr. Duck. He has a YouTube channel, he wants you to check it out, so you should do that. I'll leave his channel in the description. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the only 2 other people who actually played on the server, Marsh Drift and Caddy Noob. They get a shout out for free. So, there's that.